Hey everybody, this is Dave Silva here in the Creative Beast studio with the first of what I hope to be several preview videos of the upcoming Beast of the Mesozoic Raptor Series figures. This here is the Desert Environment Accessory Pack featuring Mononicus. So I'm going to give you a quick overview of what's included and show off some of the features. So here we have the box. There's some beautiful artwork here by Jonathan Quo. Just give you a look at everything. Credits on the back. Open it up. And there's the contents. You have your Mononicus, your base, a couple of rocks, and of course the Protoceratops skull. And if you take this out, have the egg clutch and some posing rods, a foot stand, and some ball pegs. This is going to be taped to the back of this piece on the final version. I've opened this a few times now. And here's a little backdrop. You can use it for your display or don't. It's up to you. And the other side shows some of the features and some instructions and tips. Alright, so we have all the contents out of the box, and this is everything that is included. Of course, we have the deluxe base. See some bones on there. Sculpted those based on the Protoceratops. And you can also attach the deluxe Raptor bases on either side of that if you want. Mononicus body, and to attach the tail, just pop it right on there. The tail actually has a wire inside, so if you want, you can bend it whichever way you'd like. And shoulder articulation, there are discs in there. So you can have his little tiny arms flapping if you want. Pose them back. Wish you can pose the legs back and forth. There's a little bit of articulation at the neck here. And of course, the mouth. So, shot of that. There we go. See the detail in there. So there's that guy. And we have the egg clutch. And this is meant to be in scale with the larger Raptors, not with the Mononicus. Just to be clear. Here's a little hatchling, real tiny, and there is a little bit of posability. You can turn them back and forth. It just pops right in there. Doesn't peg into the clutch, just kind of sits in there because I didn't want to put a hole or a peg showing if you wanted him out of there. Here's the larger rock. It's hollow on the inside, and there's a little hole right there. You can put a ball peg like that, and if you want to, you can attach it to the holes in the base here. They're all the same size all throughout all of the accessory packs. So that can help you attach it, or you can just simply rest it on there. This is a smaller rock, obviously. This does not have any holes in it. There we go. So that you can turn it and display it any way you want without having a hole visible. And little foot stand for the Mononicus. And the big draw, aside from the Mononicus, is the Protoceratops skull. Let's look at that. And this is kind of a preview for the next series, the Ceratopsians that I'm working on now. Plan to do a Kickstarter for that next year. It's going to have to be split up into 2 sections because there are so many. So it'll be one next year, one the following year if everything goes as planned. And then of course we have these little ball pegs. And there's a lot of things you can do with those. And we have the long jumping rod, which again can plug into any of these holes. It's mainly meant for the larger raptors, but you can use them in this guy, which I'll show later. There's the standard posing rod for the Mononicus and the smaller raptors. And this is the body clip that you can use with these rods. We have a little adapter piece. You can angle your direction on the rods. And then a little posing rod accessory. It's just a little tiny piece, little clip, and you can rest the Mononicus on that. I will get this set up and be right back. Here's a little scene that I put together just using the contents of this set. As you can see, I have the Mononicus on his little foot stand. He's just using the ball peg, and he's pretty sturdy. Wiggle him around, he still stands fine. I will say that with these ball pegs, it's best to insert them into the foot first before you attach it to the base, instead of popping them onto the peg when it's in the base. So there's him, and it's just a simple setup for the base, the rocks, and the clutch. This, I just set it on here. Seems to work just fine that way. Everything's just set, nothing is pegged in. And this is not going to fit on there with everything. You can trade these out if you wanted to set this off to the side. You could put this right here, however you want. And also, as I said, these holes are all the same size, so if you wanted to, you can just pop him right into the base like that. Alright, so here's an example of how the short posing rod can work. I just have him resting there. I would suggest this for long-term display, because I think if you display it only using the ball peg you might over time see it sag to one side or the other because of the weight and how thin the lower legs are. It'll hold for a while, but I don't know if I would leave it that way for a long period of time. But here's just a simple pose using the standard rod. If you do move him around, he'll fall because it's not clipped on there. It's just resting on there. So we can take this off. Now, getting back to this piece here, body clip, what you do, I find that the best place to attach it to him is somewhere on the tail. What you want to do is find the most narrow point of the tail and just kind of slide it down a little bit. Like I was saying before, this is made for the larger raptors, not these little guys, but you can get creative with it. And if you wanted to, you can pop it on directly to this jumping rod. And when you're using a small base like this, it really becomes about balance, but it's very doable. Now let me show you what this angled piece does. This adapter piece here, I think it makes for a more realistic jumping direction. So now you got a nice little angle to the jump instead of it just going straight up and down. And of course, if we were to go back into the main base, you can just pop it off of here and have them right in there like that. So that will about do it for this set. Hopefully you have a better idea of how this is put together and have some display ideas in mind now, because you see how all the parts work. I hope you all enjoyed this, and thank you again so much for all your support. I'll keep all of you updated as I'm updated. So y'all take care. Thanks again. Bye.